This episode of Legendary is brought to you by Shutterstock.com. For 25% off your new account, head on over to Shutterstock.com and use the offer code GameBreaker10.
GameBreaker TV.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legendary episode 150. Coming up tonight, we're excited about BlizzCon. Are you? Because there's a whole lot of stuff that we want to talk about coming up tonight. Also, what would you do if you logged on and your character was just gone from existence? Not even on the armory. Would you freak out? Because some people are. And also, we finally have an answer at. Oh wait, there's legendary music. I'm gonna try it anyway. Tanks gone, do. No? We find out where all the tanks have been going because they sure as hell are not in Flex. All that and more, but first, joining us from WoW Insider, Zam, and right here on GameBreaker TV, in yet another location, Miss Olivia D. Grace.
What's up? So here I am, no books, no nothing. Very echoey, for which I apologize, so sorry about that. The internet is no better. The roof blew off my studio.
We were talking about this just before we went live. Your raid wiped and you just table flipped so hard that your bookcase came crashing down, right?
Yeah, I table flipped so hard that I caused a minor hurricane in the UK. We had 100, I think it was like 80, 90 mile an hour winds. And unfortunately, my sort of studio library room was in a little, I suppose you'd call it like a log cabin. And the roof just got pulled clean off it, which obviously is not that great for electronic equipment. So I had to sort of grab all that out of there. And I've just been installing it into here like today. So I apologize for the echo. You won't get any birds. The complete absence of any kind of background. So sorry about that.
I'll miss the birds.
A nice outlet on your back left.
I have a nice shadow. I can do like shadow puppets. Like, look, wait, no, that hand. Let's do a dog.
And joining us as well, Pat. I got trick or treat. Trick or treat, Pat. It's Halloween.
I have candy, but only if Mike's nice. So.
Well,
they kind of.
If you're nice.
You bringing that next week? I don't care if it's after Halloween.
No. Here. There you go. Oh, damn! It came back at me.
Oh, thanks, man. That's really good.
You got it.
Really good.
You got it.
All right, let's go ahead and just jump in here and start talking about some World of Warcraft. But before we do, we've got to tell you guys about the amazing. Actually, I got another thing here. We have. We're actually looking for GameBreaker Nation. European Warcraft event planners as well as officers. So if you guys are at all looking to help build a wonderful community to go play World of Warcraft with, and you guys want to put together events as well as kind of be in charge of the World of Warcraft segment, we're looking for EU personnel to join our officer and event planner ranks. So be sure to go check that out. But if you guys are also maybe going to be showing up to Anaheim, I don't know why you would, but if you guys happen to be in Anaheim next week, I hear there's going to be this really awesome party going on next Thursday, right around Legendary time at the Annabella Hotel. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be great. You guys should come by and check it out because WoW Insider, Zam, Wowhead, and we here at GameBreaker TV are going to be putting on a wonderful BlizzCon reader, live streamer, watcher, fan meetup, and it's going to be taking place at the Annabella Hotel. So I talked about this before. I even brought up a map this time. I came prepared. So here's the convention center. I know, right? Foresight. Here's Disney. Here's the convention center. Yeah. Boom, right there. Right there. It's so close. Yep. It literally goes on right here. This is where the party's at.
That's very precise, Mike. I like it.
It's very precise.
I haven't actually been before, so I don't know where it was. So
I can even go satellite mode and show you guys right here.
Oh,
Boom.
nice.
Right in that pool area.
Right
in the pool. It's going to be actually inside the pool.
So we're
gonna have mermaids. It's gonna be great.
Mermaids and everything, and we're super close to the convention center. Obviously, right here is exactly where BlizzCon goes down. There's the big doors, as you can see from Pat Crane's wonderful backdrop back there. So be sure if you guys are going to BlizzCon, we want to see every single one of you guys out there. It'll be really, really fun. We're holding the event. It starts at, I believe, 5 o'clock and goes till 11. So we'll be live streaming on Gamebreaker TV if you guys can't attend BlizzCon and still want to be a part of the festivities. So be sure to check that out. We'll have Day 9 stopping by, Jesse Cox, all of your favorite World of Warcraft figureheads. So be sure to check it out. It's going to be really awesome. If by chance you guys are also going to BlizzCon and you don't have a ticket, or maybe you live in the California area and wanted to go, but it sold out too fast, or I don't know, maybe you just kind of told yourself, you know what, if I could get my hands on a ticket, I would pack up and fly tomorrow. Well, if that's the case, we've got a giveaway for you. One more thing to tell you guys about. We are doing a giveaway for 3 winners. So one, I'm sorry, it is 3 winners of 2 pairs of tickets. Did I say that right? This gets confusing. So we have
it really does.
It gets crazy, but they're gonna basically we're giving away one of 3 pairs of tickets or one of 10 virtual tickets. So you have an opportunity to go to BlizzCon if you guys had any desire to pack your stuff and go right now. The only stipulation is all travel expenses. How you get here and how you stay here is completely on you. But if you've ever wanted the opportunity to go to BlizzCon, or maybe you live within the area, in the California area, and couldn't get your hands on a ticket, we are holding a contest to give away either a physical ticket, or you can also opt to take the virtual ticket if you so desire. So feel free to go enter to that. Head on over to gamebreaker.tv/BlizzCon-giveaway. The dash is important. It'll take you over here, and all you guys have to do is just like a couple of our Facebook pages, as well as maybe tweet out occasionally, and you can be entered for a chance to win. So, guys, BlizzCon, it's a great, amazing experience, and you know what? Let's talk about it. Because it's been 2 years since BlizzCon, and I am itching to go back. BlizzCon was my first ever convention experience. I don't know about you guys, but that was the very first convention I ever went to.
Wow.
It's got a special place in my heart.
Wow.
That's cute.
So
that's very nice.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a ton of news that's been popping up all over lately. So first up, today we saw the huge announcement. They obviously, whoever plays at BlizzCon is always a big announcement. It was Foo Fighters 2 years ago. Everybody was wondering who it was going to be, and they announced today that the band playing at the closing ceremony is going to be, I don't know why I'm drum rolling. Everybody out there probably already knows, but if you don't know, it's going to be Blink-182. So I can be 12 years, 13, 14. I can be back in high school all I want, because Blink-182 is going to be there, all right?
Yeah, that's it. It's actually kind of coming against some mixed reviews, and as far as what I've seen on Twitter, there are people that really like this band, and then there are people that really don't think that they're awesome anymore. Like they have a place in time, and they kind of want that to be a place in time, and so it's mixed reviews on Twitter at least, but it should be a good show. I mean, here's
what I'll say. You'll never get a band that everybody absolutely likes. That's impossible.
Oh, yeah, True. That's impossible. That is literally impossible.
But I will somewhat agree to you, even though Blink just recently released a CD. I think it was just last year, or maybe about 2 years ago. They were kind of back in the scene a little bit. I think it was 2011, yeah. But I do think that they're Untitled or something like that. I was looking at it today. It's called a CD called an album called Untitled, I believe. It's the 10th anniversary of that release for Untitled.
Oh, okay.
And so what they're doing is they're actually going to be in LA in November, doing a concert that is basically playing that album from front to back, nonstop, and that's what the concert is going to be. I hope that we don't get that. I hope that they will.
I don't think we will. I was just literally about to say, like, I'm worried because I mean no offense to Blink-182. I've not heard any of their new material to pass judgment on it, but I'm kind of hoping that they do the stuff which I remember when I was a kid, rather than the new stuff.
The new stuff has a place in the hearts of Blink fans. I know a lot of people that really like the new Blink-182 stuff, but I agree with what you're saying, Pat, is they have a place in time of why this is such a big announcement. And hopefully they prioritize that, because I know a band wants to transcend an album or transcend an era of when they were popular, so they're going to want to play some of their new stuff. But I think that what they have to recognize here is that the excitement for those who see this announcement are really kind of excited from, like I said, back in 2000, 2003, right around that era.
Early 2000s.
And that's hopefully the music we'll see.
Right.
Yeah, indeed.
And it is kind of one of those things. I hope that they're not just doing Untitled, because I really want everybody to walk away from this show with a good feeling, and the only way that they're really going to be able to do that, yes, I mean, play some stuff from Untitled, fine, that's perfect. Play some stuff from all your different albums. Just make sure to leave on a big hit, because otherwise people are going to go, really?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Here's the one thing.
It's just like, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, quick public service announcement to anyone out there who's attending BlizzCon, and is excited about this, because 2 years ago, like I said, it was the Foo Fighters, and I tried to get in to see that. Be very careful and mindful of when the closing ceremony is about to start. 2 years ago, I went and I was watching the arena tournament finals, which were either delayed or just ran to their usual time. Whatever the case may be, I was there pretty much right up until the closing ceremony was about to start. As soon as it was over, everyone rushed over as fast as they could, and they weren't letting anyone into that area of the convention center anymore, because they do have a person capacity. That is the one downside, and we'll get into a little bit of this later, but that's the one downside, is that area does have a person capacity that they will lock you out. So the morning of BlizzCon, if you want to be there for the big announcements, I advise you get there early, as well as if you're excited to see Blink-182, make sure that you maybe go hang out for the last two panels that are in the main stage, so that you have an opportunity to be there, because they will lock you out.
Don't go watch if you're really, 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 really excited about Blink-182, don't go watch the thing that's somewhere else just before it. Right. Go watch the thing that's in the same place just before it.
However, if you're not really, really, really excited about Blink-182, that might be a good time to go check out one of the demos that's around.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I know that, I know I'll be watching, I really liked Blink-182. You guys call them 182 and I call them 182. I've just noticed that. But I really liked them when I was younger. But I'm more excited about watching the arena finals than I am about watching Blink-182 live. Right. So I'm not going to lie about that. I'm a huge WoW Arena fan. This should come as no surprise to people. So I'm going to prioritize that, and then I'll probably watch the concert and the closing ceremony on one of the big screens, where it'll be broadcast throughout the convention center. And I might go and, if I haven't had the opportunity already, I might go and check out Heroes. I might go and check out the hopefully new expansion that will hopefully be playable. And I'll do that instead, and I'll be able to watch the concert on the big screens, even if I don't get into that area. So yeah, definitely consider that.
Right. The only thing that's kind of weird about the announcement this close to BlizzCon is that it's this close to BlizzCon and they're just announcing this. And so to me, it kind of feels like, I mean, when I don't remember when Foo Fighters was announced, but it was months before the actual con, as I recall. It was basically
Blizzard's getting so good at being secretive here. We didn't hear about I just want to say, we didn't hear about Hearthstone till it was actually announced.
For sure.
We theoretically haven't heard what the new expansion is yet. If we go off the fact that the Dark Below is not the World of Warcraft expansion, we still don't know. We still don't know if that is or isn't it. So because of the Hearthstone and the WoW expansion and Blink, maybe they're getting a lot better at holding these secrets close.
But why wouldn't you announce Blink-182 if it's such a big thing? You would think that they would announce it so that they would be able to get more virtual ticket sales. I mean, they're not going to get any more actual ticket sales because those tickets
they sold out,
gone in 5 seconds or whatever it was. So but you'd think that they'd
What
want
if
to do it
this-
to boost their virtual ticket sales, but
Was
this
it a-
kind of announcement this late makes it feel like it's not really what they wanted initially. So maybe something
Pat,
fell through. I don't know.
I was gonna say you say that Blink was gonna be here in November anyway. Do you guys think that just maybe whoever they originally wanted fell through and they kind of scrambled to pick up Blink since they're in the area?
That's what it feels like to me. So
I don't know.
All right,
like, why not? Well, we'll see.
Moving on here real quick.
Yeah.
Let's just move on from the band. We got so much other BlizzCon stuff to talk about. So also here, we also had the exclusive BlizzCon 2013 loot that was announced. I wish I had pictures, but I don't. This week, it's the cute but deadly figurines. Now, these have already been seen at PAX, but BlizzCon attendees will receive a Diablo, a Kerrigan, and an Arthas figurine. While you guys feel this answer, I'm going to try and look for the pictures of this because it's actually quite different than the mini Tyrael figurine that we've gotten in previous years. And I can't remember what it was the year before, but it's really not even following that. Do you guys think that fans are going to be satisfied here? Because it seems like there's been some complaints about these items.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of case of people are sort of seeing that it's like the mini Tyrael was like this sort of quite arty, very Blizzard art style thing, whereas these are something completely different. Like the style of these is, and I've hip chatted you a picture, Shaf. The style of these is completely different. Like they're sort of fun, and like if you were at PAX East, there was a Sylvanas one, and now it's I believe it's Arthas, Kerrigan, and Diablo. So you're getting 3 of these little figurines, and yeah, they look like they're plastic or ceramic. So they're sort of like not metal. I don't actually have a mini Tyrael to know what they're made of.
Tyrael wasn't made metal, but these do, especially with blown up here, they do feel a little bit on the cheaper side. I think what's really doing it is these plastic stands aren't helping because it was so well hidden before. Like Tyrael was basically holding himself up with his sword, and it feels like a very rock solid like figurine that you're getting. These feel a little bit more like they are cheaper toy figurines that you would get with like a play set or something. They still look good. Don't get me wrong.
On the other hand, like we don't know how big they are. Like they could be this big, they could be this big. That could kind of. I obviously I wasn't at PAX to see the Sylvanas one to get any kind of frame of reference on that. And like, although they're maybe not the sort of super high quality, high like arty style, I really like them. I'm excited to get them. Whenever I put something behind me, you can bet your bottom dollar those will be on it. I think they're really cool. I particularly love Kerrigan. Like, I'm not that enamored by Arthas. Like, he's just like meh, whatever. But Kerrigan and Diablo look awesome. I love them. They look like sort of, what's the term for those sort of cutesy...
Chibi?
Yes, thank you. They look like that. They look like that sort of style. And it seems kind of fashionable at the minute, says someone like me who doesn't know a darn thing about fashionable stuff. I personally like them. I think I don't like the name very much. The cute but deadly name just kind of makes you go, oh, God, why did you name it that? But like, I like the figurines. I will be happy to get the figurines, and I will definitely have them like on display somewhere prominent behind me.
Me too. I mean, the name is cheesy. The name is way, way too cheesy. But come on, it's cute. It's fun. It's BlizzCon stuff. It's more stuff. I mean, come on, it's free. Who cares? Right?
That's what it is. This is stuff. This is stuff to just make you feel like you got fun stuff for going or purchasing a BlizzCon virtual ticket. Because let me let you guys in on a little bit of secret. My Tyrael went up on the bookshelf and has been sitting there since 2 years ago. It's great to have, and I like it, but I don't play with it. Like it's literally there for aesthetic purposes only. And these still, I think, pass on the aesthetically pleasing kind of, background.
And there's 3 of them, not just one. So look at that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, Joe Brewer 28 just said in chat, what if the heroes and Heroes of the Storm actually look like that?
Oh, God.
I would be totally cool with that.
I would love that. Are you kidding?
I would love that.
We saw that.
Like super cartoony.
We saw that a little bit with their animation.
I love that stuff.
I would be down with that. I would be really kind of happy with that. I think they're really cool looking. I like them.
The physical ticket also grants you a virtual ticket as well. So if you happen to miss anything while you're at the convention, you'll be able to go home and catch up on any of the panels that you guys missed. This is kind of one of those things that I was saying that we would get to, because having this is great. I personally have found when I went 2 years ago, I ended up so far in the back right corner. Like I said, I was just basically watching the big TV screen anyway. I didn't even really feel like I was there ultimately. Right. So, and I think that's it's nice that that they allow you to do this, because sometimes you do. Sometimes you get you draw the short straw and you get stuck in a really crappy seat. But you're there for the experience and the fun, but you really didn't get a chance to see up close what these things were. And I think anyone who goes to a convention can tell you that when you're looking at a screen at a convention center, it's never the same as looking at like a computer screen. I thought about this when I went to the League of Legends World Tournaments. I found myself literally just watching the TV in front of me when I was at the Staples Center, and I was like, I really just kind of wish I was back at my computer, because it's so much more like easy to comprehend and so much more high definition.
And like it's you've got a loo there, and you've got popcorn, and you've got beer you've got tiny beers in the fridge, and Starburst, and Jolly Ranchers maybe, and it doesn't cost you $10 for a tiny Corona. All good things.
Ridiculous.
By the way, Mike, I feel bad for you. So here's another little treat for you. Here you go. There you go.
Thanks.
Doesn't even take the wrappers off. That's how much you loves her.
You don't even need to.
I don't even chew. I just swallow the wrapper whole.
They're fine. They're fine.
Next up, of course, obviously. Oh, sorry, Pat. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, for those guys that are doing the virtual ticket, you guys really do have a great seat for everything. I did virtual ticket last time around, and it really was actually pretty interesting, fun, and different, because you do get all the commentary between shows, as well as all of the shows that you want to see for the next couple of weeks. So you can see all the different panels that you want to. And it's
for sure. And I mean, like, I sort of think that there'll be stuff in there that's actually almost better enjoyed through the virtual ticket. Mike mentioned one, like, bits and bobs where you can just sort of see it at, like, your own pace, and, like, talking about the League of Legends world. So things like games in the arena tournament. So if you need to AFK for a while, like to pop to the bathroom or something, you can just rewind it. Like, as far as I understand it, it gets you live rewind. So you can literally just pull the stream back in time. Like, you didn't quite see how that paladin died. You can pull the stream back, and the commentators will run through it again. It's right there. And, it's really, really, it's a great way to look at stuff. I mean, I'm one of those people who actually always prefers to watch, like, concerts and stuff on a sofa at home. I'm really psyched to be at BlizzCon, but, like, I'm really, really glad that we're getting the virtual ticket as well, because for people like me who've got to be, like, writing stories on this and covering this, it's going to be super handy to actually have the virtual ticket to be able to just be like, all right, so what actually happens then? And then there's going to be
about
like
the experience.
Yeah.
The virtual ticket allows you to actually get the information.
Yeah,
yes,
it really is about meeting people, seeing things, and doing stuff. It's not about watching everything and kind of sitting down and, like, viewing stuff. It's about experiencing, or it should be more about experiencing. And if you get the virtual ticket on top of the physical ticket, then you will be able to experience it, and then you'll be able to come back later and go, okay, now let's actually watch some of this stuff as it
for sure
unfolded. So.
And also, don't forget that, I mean, as far as I understand it, and I don't, like, this hasn't been confirmed by an official post, but you get the way that they issue as I understand it, so don't go crazy, but the way they issue the virtual ticket is with a code. So you could theoretically take that code and then pass it to your mum or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your sister or your cat, and they could watch it at home. So you're almost getting another ticket in there.
You'd need a smart cat, though. You would really need a smart cat.
Would you, though?
I'm just saying.
Really? It's very user-friendly.
They need to be able to enter in the code. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. They need to be able to read.
Have you never seen a cat walk across a keyboard and type something for you? I'm just saying, it happens.
So first up, teach your cat to read.
Right.
So, of course, here they also announced and actually launched their app. So if anybody's going, you'll want to pick up your BlizzCon survival app so that you can know everything that's going on, where things are happening, maps. You can look at, maybe where stuff will be in relation to it. And I think I used it probably at least 20 or 30 times during BlizzCon, during the last BlizzCon. So be sure to go check that out. Now it says here that even some of the free live streams are going to be available through the app.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
There's the free live stream. So as far as I understand it, there's certain stuff that you can only access with the virtual ticket, and the rewind is only on the virtual ticket. But the free live streams are actually going to be watchable from the app itself. So you can be sitting in one panel watching StarCraft or watching arenas. So that's pretty cool. I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like Inception in a little bit of a way, because I actually had that earlier because I was on the mobile app and I was reading about how the mobile app was live now.
Oh, Appception.
It's Blizzception.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
I'm doing it again.
I can't. I'm not logged into any of it right now. But you've got Twitter integration and you've got Instagram integration, and I can't actually see it on the Android version. But as I gather, you've got Facebook integration, so you can show off to everybody about how you're at BlizzCon or how you're even at work, like watching BlizzCon on your phone.
Yeah.
Not that you'd obviously do that because you're all very responsible.
Right.
So what do you outside of the normal here, outside of the for the love of God shower and use soap, for the love of God have fun and enjoy BlizzCon and see all of your friends. Any other advice that you guys would give to people who are maybe attending BlizzCon?
Well, and I haven't actually been to BlizzCon before, but I have been to Gamescom 2 years running and also Eurogamer in London. My top tips for any given convention: bring water. Like, really do bring water. It's hot in California. It's less hot than it has been, I would say. Like, I don't know how hot it is right now, but I gather it's cooled down a bit. Okay, so it's relatively warm. But a room full of people generates quite a lot of heat. So bring water. Don't dehydrate. And you'll feel more energetic if you drink more water.
I could be wrong. I just want to interrupt you just for a quick second. I could be wrong. I don't know if they allow you to bring your own water in.
Oh, okay. I've heard that from someone else that you can, but I'm not. Okay, so maybe you can.
Or if you can't, at least bring in like a bottle or something like that. Something that you can put water into, so that you can carry it around during the day and not worry about it spilling all over the place. How about that?
Yeah.
Continue.
If you can bring in water, then do. But also, like, things like another tip that someone gave me, which I used at Gamescom this year, which is a really good tip. And again, this is an if you can bring them in. Those little sanitizer gels, like the alcohol gel, just for your hands, because like you're going to be saying hi and meeting lots of friends, and just every now and then, sanitizer gel. If you can bring food, then it's going to be cheaper to bring food than it is to buy food.
That I'm pretty sure you won't be able to do. I don't think you'll be able to do that. I mean, most places have a tendency not to look unfavorably among to those people that bring in food or whatever. So
I'm guessing wants to make that money.
You might be able to bring in.
Yeah, they always have done. Like Gamescom and Eurogamer have both allowed you to always bring food.
You might be able to bring in like a candy bar or some kind of healthy alternative to that. But I would guess that probably not like a steak sandwich.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
What have you got against steak, the Anaheim Convention Center?
That's right.
So also up this week, we also kind of heard that the live raid is going to be the world first guild method facing off against top alliance guild Midwinter, and it's actually going to be shoutcast by our very own. Well, not our very own. I has a say.
He's always our very own in our heart.
But it's going to be shoutcast by our very own friend, Josh Allen, a.k.a. Lore.
Yes.
So first up, this is so tough for me. I want to say who you cheering for. And I want to have like American pride and be like, go America, the same way I'm like, go Bulls, because I'm from Illinois. But we've got Trekkie who comes into Legendary. So now I almost feel obligated, like hometown advantage, is I gotta root for EU.
there are some real superstars on both teams, I think, and so I mean, when you look at Trekkie and you can look at Blatty and you can look at I mean a bunch of the other guys on Method and just be really impressed with what they do on a regular basis. Anytime an expansion comes out, they clobber the hell out of it, and they've done it time and time again during Mists of Pandaria, Cataclysm before that. So I mean, they've just been a consistent powerhouse in raiding. However, that shouldn't take anything away from Midwinter because they are a great group of guys, really laid back and fun. I mean, these guys have shown that you don't have to be. You can be intense, but still have a ton of fun while raiding, and these guys do it. And that's really great. That's awesome.
See, I don't have this kind of conflict that Shafnit's got, as in I am from the EU. I am an unabashed and unashamed Method fangirl, and Trekkie comes on the show. So There we go. That's really easy for me. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to make myself some Method pom-poms and be like, all like, go Method, yay! And just like literally just dancing around like an idiot. That's going to be me.
Right. And I will have one flag that says Trekkie on it, and I'll have the other one that says Sloot on it.
So I was going to say you're going to be supporting Trekkie and Midwinter.
That's
so
right.
Like a Midwinter pom-pom and a flag that just says Trekkie on it, like
That's
on a
right.
Swedish flag, just Trekkie.
So
just Trekkie.
what do you guys think here? Because the difference in how fast they cleared it. You know, Method finished 9 days ahead of Midwinter here.
Right.
Would you guys say that maybe racials at all played a big part here, or are they going to try and equalize it where they're playing the same faction so that everything's on equal playing field? What do you think is going to happen here between these?
I really hope that they don't. I mean, there's no reason to. I don't think that the racials are enough of a push to. I mean, when you're conquering, this stuff for the very first time, those racials may help you. Just kind of push that edge a little bit more. But when it comes to a fun thing like this, I hope that they leave it Horde versus Alliance because we need that kind of, battle. And so we really, I think that's what the people want. They want to see the battle of Horde and Alliance. Yeah. And now it's all kind of old hat anyway for these guys anyway. For me, it's still, pretty new, but for those guys, it's all old hat, so they don't have to worry about it.
Sure.
They'll just smash through it.
And also, I mean, like, although, Method finished 9 days ahead of Midwinter in the actual World First race, like, I don't know what they're going to be doing with gear. I'm assuming that they'll just be copying characters straight over, and maybe if, like, I know Trekkie's in chat, so I can see him, but whether he's actually going to, like, whether he knows whether they're just going to be copying gear over, or are they just going to give everyone all the gear, or are they just going to make you fully geared characters? And, like, I mean, it's kind of worth remembering that obviously there was a massive gear difference between when they were first killing these guys and now. Like, these guilds don't just be like, well, that's us done, off we go. They're going to be carrying on killing these bosses. They're going to be carrying on gearing up. And maybe there's an element there that Midwinter can, like, claw back some of the racial-based disadvantage. And you've got to remember that even on bosses that they kill time and time and time and time again, in the Siege race, which was quite recent, again, Method versus Midwinter with a theme, it was only a 2-minute difference. Both guilds, including Method, who got the world first on this content, wiped on Dark Animus. Both guilds. And, like, Method wiped, and then everyone just sort of went, oh my god, if Midwinter don't wipe, they can get ahead. And unfortunately, Midwinter also wiped on Dark Animus, and Method managed to stay ahead. But that race was really close. Like, if Midwinter hadn't wiped on Dark Animus, they could have well won that. And this is different to the it's completely different to a world first progression race. Well, I don't think it's that applicable, the 9 days thing.
And this is Trekkie basically said the same thing in our chat just now. He said, this isn't something that we've defeated 50 times on all of our alts and have done these power farming runs or anything like that. They still wipe on occasion, so anything can really happen here. Siege is still new enough so that there can be some issues. Yes, they've cleared it, but and they know the strats really well, and they know their characters really well. They know how to conquer this content. But I think when you pit them head to head, it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens here. It'll be cool, man. I'm gonna be there. Hopefully, I'm gonna be front row.
Yeah.
No,
I'm gonna be like jostling elbows my way to the front with my pom poms.
I'm gonna be fighting Olivia for a seat.
What do you guys think their reasoning here is?
on.
Because they're only doing Shaw of Pride, Kor'kron Dark Shaman, Malkarok, Siege Crafter Black Fuse, and then Garrosh. So why only these fights?
Those are some tough fights, man.
Yeah.
Those are some really tough fights, and they're very interesting. I mean, Dark Shaman, there is so much garbage on the ground that nobody will be able to tell what the hell's going on at all. It's crazy. And Malkarok has some really interesting mechanics, and so does Siege Master Black Fuse. Great fights.
I think it's like they're missing out ones, as far as I can tell. Like, obviously, I don't know this. They're missing out ones which either aren't that interesting mechanically to watch, like Thok, like, you know, stack up, burn, spread, run, stack up, burn. I mean, obviously, I haven't done it on heroic, so could be completely different on heroic. There could be like 90 bajillion ads and also sharks with laser beams, for all I know. But you know, it's not that interesting a fight to watch. And then things like Spoils of Pandaria, where it's just like raids split in half, we're just killing things in boxes. Like, it's a good fight, but I don't think it's possibly that interesting to watch.
Right.
And then like Paragons of the Klaxi is just such a, like, what is even happening here? Then maybe it's not so maybe it's another fight that's not so enjoyable to watch. So I mean, I don't know that for certain, but that's kind of my take on it. Like, Siege Crafter is an awesome looking fight and it's kind of semi-obvious what's going on. And Garrosh, you've got to have Garrosh. Dark Shaman, like Pat said, is just crazy. Shaw of Pride is kind of an interesting choice, because I don't think that is that great a fight. I guess there's some interesting stuff that goes on, like
I think, you know,
prisons.
you're just trying to get some variety going. You want to get some different mechanics, some new stuff that people maybe haven't seen in a while, or haven't seen at all up until Siege of Orgrimmar. So, you know, I think it's, you know, for diversity, I think that's a pretty good selection. I don't know if there's much more that I would necessarily take from the rest of the raid to put in there.
Yeah, for sure. Like, just for sort of audience enjoyment, I think those are some really good fights. And like, I mean, they're also like Garrosh is a long fight. Like, if you wipe on Garrosh, and you're like, they've got to have like basically they've got to be 10 minutes ahead to afford to wipe on Garrosh, if I understand it correctly. Like, I think Garrosh is like an 8-minute fight. Trekkie, tell us in chat, Trekkie, what the length of the Garrosh fight is.
It's long.
I'm sure you know.
It's long.
Like, I was actually happened to be watching Midwinter's stream when they actually killed it for the first time, and that was a long fight. So if one of them wipes on Garrosh and the other ones are just about to pull it, that's like, okay, we've got this. We just need to not wipe.
and then think about the pressure that's put on the team that is like, okay, now we just need to not wipe.
I can just see, and I know they're both really professional, you know, guilds. They wouldn't do this, but I could just see one of those moments where, like, all right, quick, we just wiped. Someone go over there and just like face roll on the dude's keyboard and try and wipe him. We need to get back and pull this. Pull the keyboard from his computer or something. 14 to 15 minutes. So that would be quite a lead you'd have to pull out to be able to afford a Garrosh wipe.
Yeah.
But I think, if I understand it correctly, there's only going to be like 3 members from each guild on stage, and then they're going to be coordinating with the rest of them, like either in the convention center or back at home, if I understand it correctly.
I believe so. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be working out.
Like, I can't imagine they can fit 50 people on the stage, and indeed I can't imagine that all 25 of Method's raid members are going to be in the States with BlizzCon.
Right, exactly.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. But before we do, I want to tell you guys a sponsor that we have here at Game Breaker that helps make all of these shows possible, keeps the lights on, and helps us continue to bring consistent content to you guys. Shutterstock.com is a great service for anyone in the creative industry with over 20 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips. They have a massive selection to choose from that any content creator should keep as a Swiss Army knife. And Olivia, I think that, you know, maybe you could tell the the European government that maybe they should start using Shutterstock, because I think that, you know, maybe your library would have been a little bit better off had you guys had an amazing hurricane alert graphic. Just saying, they could have come here to Shutterstock.com and alerted all of you guys.
They could have used that amazing graphic, and I would have preemptively
And then just in case, maybe you guys are going to have a tornado. They've got an amazing tornado one too.
There you go.
Well, let's say I'm hoping that we don't have a follow-up tornado to go with our hurricane. Like, I don't think we're trying to collect a set bonus here.
I hope you guys don't too, but, you know, I'm just saying, Shutterstock has got you guys covered if you ever do. They've got tons...
Never mind.
they've got tons of graphics that you guys can choose from. Stuff that you guys could maybe use for open guild animations. Here's a great kind of green explosion. They've got kind of this one that looks like a nebula kind of exploding as well. All these things could really be used in various ways, as well as they've got a whole bunch of different icons and images that you guys could use on maybe websites or graphics for your YouTube channel. Shutterstock is a place that we visit every day, and we cannot recommend it to you guys enough. If you guys are looking to check out Shutterstock.com and some of the stuff that they have to offer, and you're about to check out, before you check out, use the offer code GameBreaker10 because you'll receive 25% off of your new account. So head on over and check it out. Shutterstock.com just Shutterstock.com and use the offer code GameBreaker10. Next up is a little bit of something weird kind of going on here with Connected Realms. I'm surprised, honestly. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised this is the first time it's happened, but it looks like it's finally happening here. So Nessingwary, and I've got no idea how to say that, and I know I've been playing World of Warcraft for years, but
Vecnilash. I'm gonna go with Vecnilash. Vecnilash, yeah.
For those of you on the server, Vecnilash and Nessingwary, those servers got joined this week on Tuesday, and when the realm restart happened, all sorts of crazy things started going on with characters. So many players are actually reporting that their characters have flat out not only disappeared from the selection screen. If it was just there, I'd be freaked out a little bit. But the fact that their characters have disappeared from the armory as well is even more concerning. So what happened here? You know, where do players currently stand in terms of how do I get my character back?
Well, as it stands at the moment, there's Vrakthris, who has a very conveniently unpronounceable name and is from, like, he's the tech side of the Blizzard community support. They're working on it, is the sort of long story short. It's kind of being a bit drawn out because they were working on it and they're still working on it. And what seemed to have happened was that a bunch of people I don't think it was everyone. I think it was mostly people on Nessingwary rather than people on Vecnilash who were having it happen. But people were logging on and literally, like you say, just discovering their characters were gone. And then they were logging in again a bit later and they were discovering that all of their mains, like all of their existing characters, were flagged for rename. So then people started panicking and started grabbing level 1 outs with those characters. And then they were saying people were getting old characters that they deleted years ago and coming back. There was people on there saying, oh man, I had a level 64 priest that I deleted 4 years ago or something. And yeah, and they've got duplicates of their existing characters. They can't delete the characters that are placeholders. It's just a mess. It just seems like a total mess.
Right. Clearly, this is exactly how Blizzard intended for this to work. So they wanted everybody to lose their characters, get all the armory stuff just all screwed up, bring back the old characters. We're going to go back to vanilla here, guys. We're going to bring back a character that you deleted 8 years ago, and we'll put it on your selection screen and see how that runs. Here we go. So yeah, it's totally working as intended, and if you're on one of those two servers, please panic.
Yeah,
so outside of the clearly cut reason that they just want to reset everyone and be the worst people in the world. I'm kidding. Right. Is there any indication out of what could have been? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I actually have to clarify my sarcasm because I feel like people out there actually think I'm being serious because I don't even know. But no, they didn't mean for this to happen. So what could have caused this to happen?
That is a good question.
A missing or replaced data set from an old, build somewhere. Maybe got into the thing. I don't have no idea.
People were theorizing that it was something to do with how they had to actually restart the realms with this most recent patch that was applied with the hotfixes. They required a realm restart. And this is just people theorizing. And that with that realm restart, something went wrong and all the characters with duplicate names. So if you had Bob the Warlock on Nessingwary and Bob the Warlock on Vecnalash, those ones were having problems because they were pulling this data as one server or something along those lines. But that is just a theory. It could have just been aliens. It could have been Gunship. Someone could have been raiding Gunship at the time, and then it all went reversed and it broke everything. Who knows?
Do you think?
Yeah, there's an indication.
Right.
Pat, do you think that this is going to slow down Blizzard connecting further realms at this point until they figure out what went wrong?
Well, I think they need to find out exactly what it was, and with BlizzCon coming up, I'm sure that everybody has a lot of different things that they're trying to do, so maybe it'll slow down for a little bit while they diagnose the problem and try to make sure that they can either recreate and fix it, or just say we're not going to recreate it, and then therefore whatever, but make it safe for everybody. But it seems like they're on a roll with Connected Realms, and there's a lot of questions going on around the forums and on Twitter about Connected Realms and how that's going to be rolling out. This is a process, and along the way, you have to make sure that everything is working well together before you move to that next step. Because, and I think that we've said it on this show before, I know that I've said it tons before, once you put everybody together, and you lock them in, you can't pull them apart again. So you want to make sure that all of these connections are done right, the right way for everybody. And they started with the PvP side of things, and the PvP servers, and I'm cool with that. They are going to be getting to all the different types of servers out there, so don't worry about it. It is coming your way. It's just, I think moving deliberately here is going to be better than moving quickly.
Yeah, and I just think this is kind of a clarion call to all the people who are, I've seen a lot of posts on the official forums with people really, really angry about realms not being connected as fast as they'd like. Oh, why isn't my realm connected? Why are Blizzard doing this so slowly? Why is this such a slow process? Oh, God, Blizzard is so awful. This is why. Right. Because of unanticipatable glitches that do weird stuff like this to people on Connected Realms. That's why it's happening slowly.
And think about this, too. A few months ago, we had never even heard of Connected Realms. So why don't you just take a step back and breathe for a minute?
Yeah.
And it will come to you in the standard Blizzard soon with the little TM over it, and then we'll be good. So just step back, breathe. It will happen. It will happen.
What about compensation? There's got to be something in line. There has to be something in line for compensation, because people are paying a subscription for a service. Their character is gone. You could say, well, you still have access to the game. No, I don't have access to my character anymore. That's right. That's legit.
Yeah.
You need to be compensated.
I think for those that are affected, my guess would be that it would be a monetary, thing that Blizzard would say, okay, well, we'll just take a little bit off of your thing, or we'll credit your account, such and such. Maybe we'll give you, I don't know, enough for a free pet or something like that, or something along those lines. And it depends on how long the outage is too. I don't know. They're not back on right now, correct, Liv?
Yeah, as far as I was reading the forum thread, as he was sort of listening to other stuff, and as far as I can tell, it's not rectified yet. Some people are starting to be able to get their characters back, and I agree with Pat. I think I can't see them giving you actual money. But I could see them saying, "Oh, here's 7 days free game time. Add a week's free game time onto the account."
Or even 30 days free game time, because they can just say whatever, we'll give you 30 days for free. That's fine. That's great. That's a great way to handle something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think things obviously these people won't. I think one of the things which is coming up a lot on the thread is, oh well, we just completely miss out on our Headless Horseman mount. We can't grind this because we've had no access to our characters. So it's kind of that's a bit tricky, but I don't think there's anything that unfortunately Blizzard can do to deal with that. They can't just give people Headless Horseman mounts, I don't think. But yeah, it's kind of, obviously the thing is that this is if you get all legal and awful about it, that you still have access to all the other servers. You just don't have access to that server, and you don't have access to those characters. Yeah. But I suppose they could pull you have access to all the other servers line. It'd be kind of a shitty move if they did.
You think? Yeah, that would be not very cool, and it would not
uncool.
That would be uncool, Blizz. So make
You know
sure
what'd
to
be-
do like the 30-day time card, 60 days maybe even. For those guys.
You know-
I don't know. I mean,
You know what's really cool? Just saying. 30 days worth of Netflix. And you guys can check it
Oh,
out
yeah.
right now by heading over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. But if you guys have not heard of Netflix, I don't know where you're living, probably under a rock. But maybe you guys have tried out Netflix and you just haven't gone back to it in a while. They've got a lot of great stuff for instant streaming that's available right now. I can show you guys kind of my list here of what I've been watching. Kevin Hart, I don't know if you guys are into comedians at all. I highly recommend that you go watch some of any of Kevin Hart's stand-up. Any movie that this man is in is just hilarious. I love Kevin Hart. Aziz Ansari, I've got a lot of stand-up as you can see here. And even, boom, I don't know how many of you guys remember Clue back from the 90s, maybe even earlier, but that movie was amazing.
And it
it's
had
available
3
on
different
Netflix.
endings. It had a few different endings, so you can go check it out a few times.
Why don't we
Really?
make movies like that? And they release it in different regions. They the thing that's available to actually watch on streaming, it includes all 3 endings for watching. But when Clue came out, they released different endings in different parts of either the world or the states. And only showed you half of the ending. So there's suddenly people started realizing that there were different endings to this movie.
So it kept on going back.
That's
Yeah, it
pretty
was kind of
cool.
weird. It's kind of weird.
Never heard of that at all. Like, if they released it in different parts of the world, it wasn't in this one.
Right. And then when I think the one on Netflix right now though, I think they show all 3 endings at once.
The way it's
you only have to watch
structured
it once.
is kind of like the complete format where they're like, it plays it up to the ending and then it gets to the point where it's like, that's how it could have happened, or it could have happened like this.
Or this.
Oh, cool. That's pretty
So
cool.
many great lines
There's
in
another
that
film like
movie.
that called Run Lola Run, which I absolutely love. But that's probably on Netflix, actually.
Yeah. I've actually been watching American Horror Story, the first
Great
season.
Great show.
On Netflix, and that's a great show, especially for this time of year.
You know,
Halloween.
usually I like to talk about Netflix being a great service to watch shows like American Horror Story or television shows because you can catch up with the current season. Because now, American Horror Season 3 is on the air. But the really cool part about American Horror Story is that each series is completely individual of itself. So watching season 1, you get the complete full experience of what season 1 is. You're not missing out on anything else that's going on television right now. And to be honest, I'm just starting to kind of come around to season 3, but season 1 of American Horror Story right now is my favorite, and the whole entire first season is available on Netflix streaming right now. So go check out American Horror Story. Go check out any of the amazing services or amazing videos that you can find on Netflix. And if you head on over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV, you can get started with a free 30-day trial right now. So head on over. Hey, if you guys had an account at one point, maybe try making a new account. We'd love you to come back and try out Netflix again. And in the process, you're going to help support Game Breaker TV. So you can feel good doing it. Let's move on here because we want to know where all the cowboys have gone. Not cowboys, tanks. WoW Progress has added a new feature. Oh wait, no, I jumped the gun. I missed.
Yeah, you did.
You missed
not on
one.
tanks
You
yet.
missed a bit.
We're not on tanks yet. WoW Progress actually has added a new feature that they put in that specifically targets speed runs, which will log the kill time of every run and will also provide the ranking by server, region, and zone. So that's a pretty cool feature, but I don't know. Has speed running really become a competitive leaderboard that people are following?
Well, it's definitely not. I mean, it gives some legs to rating beyond just world first. Well, and maybe that's a better way of saying it. It's not necessarily going to be an uber competitive thing, but those guys that feel like they can, take a shot at the fastest kill, let's go for it. Let's do it. This is something different for our group to try to go for, other than a world first kill, because I mean we can't do the world first kill. I mean that's already been done. Thanks, Method.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Way to go,
God,
Trekkie.
Way to ruin it.
So
Way to ruin
uncool,
it for
man.
everyone just by
everybody.
killing the boss. Now
That's
I saw
right.
the cinematic.
Boss
I don't even need to
everyone.
kill Garrosh anymore. I don't care
Right.
anymore.
No, but now you
It's
can.
like-
But now you can go and do speed runs, and so now you can go with all your friends, and you can say, "Okay, well, let's go kill him as fast as we can." What do you say about
Yeah,
that?
for sure.
So I mean, it gives it some extra legs, and I think that we'll need those legs because, like I said, we've said before, we're going to be in this content for a while. So
until May, June,
until
July, summer, late summer.
No, it's going to be sooner. It's definitely going to be sooner.
Calling it late summer.
But no, I think this is really cool. I think it adds a new dimension. And also what I really like about it is that it's the different splits of the rankings. So it's not just like in the US, you like my PvE guild, like in the EU would be like 20,000 or something. But like on our server, we could be first. Like we could have just worked out a way to kill a boss faster than anyone else. Like we're progression wise, we're like third on our server. Our server's a terrible server, but we're third on it. Like, so that adds interest. It like makes it more fun. And like we know, like particularly within your server, you're likely to know the other guilds in your server and be like, oh yeah, those guys. If we can beat those guys on something, that would be really cool. And it's like challenge modes. Like you're the guild that's got you might not be the guild that's progressing the fastest, but you're the guild with the fastest kills on X, Y, and Z. And it also makes it more interesting. Like you remember the Endless Dragon Soul stuff? And like you could bring like some crazy comps. You could bring some alts along. You could be like, all of our DPS will be mages. All of it.
Right.
All of our DPS. Right. In fact, all of our healers will be mages too. And all of our tanks will be warlocks.
Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, and plus, you also can maybe get some guys that will do some videos, some rating videos about speed kills, and not just about the normal strat. So it might be, you might find some cool, unique ways to think about these mechanics and how to deal with them along the way.
I don't want to be the one who's raining on the parade here.
Rain, baby. Rain. That's what you do.
I can't remember if Blizzard talked about challenge modes not living up to what they expected them to be. And maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like a very small portion of the community actually finds joy in challenge modes. The way that you guys are talking. Yes, it's fun and it's exciting and it's nice, but that's also what Blizzard said about challenge modes. And those didn't take off, I think, the way that they intended them to.
Sometimes it's better to come at a problem from outside of the source. So when Blizzard comes at a problem, they come at it from their perspective. When places like WoW Progress come at it, they look at it from a completely different perspective. And so maybe this is something where we're not saying you have to do it, it's something you can do. Or it's something that you might want to think about doing, and then maybe that'll plant a seed in people's minds going, oh, that'd be interesting. And then that way we could say we're number one and we're competitive like that, so let's do it. And then you get your whole team involved. So that's cool.
Yeah. And then also I think, like, I seem to recall that while challenge modes were, like, the uptake on challenge modes percentage-wise was pretty low, I thought they said that they were surprised by how many people were doing it. Like, I don't think they ever expected it to be, like, this huge thing that everyone in the player base is doing. But I kind of seem to recall them saying that they were like, oh, actually, more people than we'd anticipated are doing challenge modes. So, I don't know, like, it probably wasn't, like, that huge a reach, but it's still, I think it was still enough that they were excited about it. And I think more and more people will start to do that sort of content now, particularly, like, where you're in the position where you've got, like, potentially, if you've been keeping hold of it, 3 tiers of raid gear to be like, now, let me build my challenge mode gear set.
Right.
And you know, because it's there's a lot of that to it. But like, I think this is going to be really fun. Like, I'm excited about doing this with either of the 2 guilds I raid with, and it's going to be good. I'm actually quite excited about it.
Yeah, just kind of fun.
Let's move on to my old joke.
You want to sing it again?
Where did all the tanks go? Lead systems designer Greg Street has been tweeting a little bit about something that we discussed last week on Legendary. So we talked about how tanks are kind of disappearing in LFR. And actually, the tanks in LFR have put a poll together on MMO Champions forums, which indicates why exactly they don't want to queue or aren't queuing. But let's take a look at it here. Oh, that's not... Did I close it?
It's a pretty small poll. I mean, there's 500 voters, so I mean, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt, but it is kind of interesting. I think.
I mean, obviously, like, you can't assume that this is representative. This is like the be all and end all of polls. It's definitely interesting, but it's not like this is not conclusive proof that this is absolutely categorically true in all cases and every respect. but it's certainly interesting.
It's some interesting insight, and anyway, into these 513 people or whatever.
So
Yeah,
coming
for
into with this selected sample size, coming in at 20, almost 29%, the number one reason for why tanks are not getting queued or aren't queuing for LFR is because they get too much abuse. As I said last week, they said, F it. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with you. I'm not going to tank for you when I got to take the brunt of all of the bull crap that comes my way and pretend like it's my fault. Too much abuse. Number one, coming in at 29%. I totally lost Pat. There he is.
Yep.
I found you.
I'm here. I'm here.
I click things.
He's right there, man. He's right
I'm
there.
around. I'm around. I am around.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that?
It doesn't surprise me at all. Like I've tanked probably more than my fair share of LFRs in my time. And you do, like, if you know the fights inside out and you're able to, like, either you have, like, when I first started doing them, the main tank, I was off tanking in the PvE group, and the main tank and I would actually go into them together. And so we'd be two tanks who, like, we main tanked and off tanked for years. Like, I've known this guy since I was 16. We've known each other really well. We've main tank and off tank together for a really long time. And so we know each other. We know how each other does the fight. We know which ad each other picks up. I always go right. He always goes left. We work really, really well together. And that allowed me to learn the fight with someone I knew already. If you're not in the position to be able to do that, and you screw up on one mechanic that actually is a genuine tank mechanic that people feel you should know because you're the tank and therefore you automatically know everything about tanking the fight, holy moly, you get some crap. People are not, and it's kind of like we were talking about this last week. It's that mob mentality of it's easier for the group of 17 to blame the group of 2 than it is for them to turn the mirror on themselves and be like, oh, actually, we were totally hitting Nazgrim in defensive stance, and our DPS is pretty terrible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they do, and when people turn on tanks, it's not just the tanks that are affected by that. It's everybody else, and they go, wow, I'm glad I'm not a tank. Because, I mean, that's not fun to be yelled at and abused like that. I mean, when it happens, it hits hard.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there are definitely exceptions to that, and there are some very lovely LFR groups that I've been a part of over the years or whatever, however long it's been. But it's rare. More likely you get either the neutral to toxic range from one or more players, and sometimes it feels like the tanks get ganged up on. So
yeah, I think that people, excuse me, like particularly because there's quite. I'm probably going to say something. I could say something dumb here, but let me say there's several fights, and including trash in this, not like a ton of fights, but there's several fights where you've got people or mobs, excuse me, that are not tankable, that fixate and are non-tankable mobs, or that do a random charge and knockdown or something along those lines, like deal damage to a random player, and that makes people blame tanks even more.
Sure.
And like part of the problem is that not like Pat is absolutely categorically right that this sort of stuff stops people who are watching it getting into tanking, but also tanking. There's always been a shortage of tanks is nothing new in WoW, but it just seems to be getting worse. Like people don't seem to want to start tanking. Like when I first started playing WoW, I started Burning Crusade. I didn't start in vanilla, and I was like, right, I want to be a tank because I'm a bit of a control freak. I'm very bossy. I have no problem with responsibility and shouting at people. It's what I'm like. I'm kind of a dick, is basically what I'm saying. So I had no problem at all with tanking.
Rude.
Like I have a very thick skin.
I'm glad
I worked in real estate and pubs.
I'm glad you said it, Liv, because if I were to say it, then that would just be a jerk move on my part.
Yeah, so. Exactly. But it's like so I wanted to, but I had friends who, when I was rolling healers, friends who were like, "Oh, I'm a DK, but I will never tank. It's too scary. It's too much responsibility." And somehow Blizzard needs to do something about that. But I just don't know what. Like, what can Blizzard do to make tanking less of a scary perspective for someone? What can they do to make LFR groups not be dicks to tanks?
And we've seen that a little bit of that with Proving Grounds. But the problem is with Proving Grounds is that it's not necessarily, it doesn't really reflect what happens in raids, let alone LFR. So it's a little bit tougher. I think that some of the other interesting piece to this little poll here is that about the same number of people, roughly, maybe a little bit less, said that they either don't need anything from LFR or that they'd rather do normals and flex. And I think that means something for the rest of the raiding community outside of LFR. And I think that's kind of like a positive note maybe on this poll, where tanks are just like, you know what? No, I would rather do other raids. I would rather go into to an organized group and go do stuff like that. And I think that's actually encouraging for the raiding community in general. So just to throw something else out there.
Yeah. And I think Flex has definitely had an impact. Like Pat's absolutely right. Like Flex, there's no way that having a nice, fun thing to easily do with a flexible group on a kind of your own schedule hasn't had an impact on LFR.
Right. Exactly.
Because of the abuse, but it still had an impact.
Yes, the abuse does not help. So if you're in LFR, make sure that you don't blame the tanks, and for that matter, don't blame the healers either, because you don't want to blame a finite resource, right? So don't blame tanks, don't blame healers, don't blame anybody that can be tanks or healers. So just blame hunters, mages, rogues, and what else? It's just pure DPS. Warlocks. Blame warlocks.
Blame warlocks. That's the message to take away from today's show.
That's right. Just
title
those
right there. Blame warlocks.
Blame warlocks.
Let's hit up some viewer questions and get the heck out of here. So remember, each and every week we take your questions, so keep an eye out on our Facebook page, or if you want, send them in to submit at gamebreaker.tv. First up, Dark Matter asked us this. He said, what do you guys think about account-wide? Actually, I think I have a card for this, maybe? No? Is that,
no.
Probably not.
That says 149. Wrong,
you stopped using them, so I stopped making them. Suck it.
I did not stop using them. You stopped sending them to me. What? Dark Matter asks, what do you guys think about an account-wide crafting gimmick? Example, your main can craft using a workstation in your house, farm anything, your alts can, without having to log swap. The second is, see, this is why I like quote cards. You don't have to look at me struggling to read basic English, Olivia. And second, what do you this? I swear to God, that's what it says.
It should be
what
think.
Do you this? Okay,
look,
all right.
It should be
Secondly, what do you think on expanding? Now the whole thing shifted on me. What do you think of that? Think on them expanding the WoW Phone tablet app to do your crafting and farms and in-game mail while not logged in? Would all of my cooldowns, my crafting, my farms, and all of the auction house before I get home each and every day? So first part of that question, crafting and all of that stuff applicable to every single character. What do you guys think?
I think that would be cool. I would actually enjoy the crafting being available to your other characters as long as you had mats and stuff like that, because there are some items that drop that are only soul bound and you can't necessarily work with right away. So it would be nice to be able to do that. However, should it be done? That's another question, and I kind of leave it in the hands of Blizzard on that one a little bit, because they have been pretty they've talked about it before, and they don't want to do that because they want to make sure that this game continues being fun for everybody in every class and in every profession, and so they don't want to make it just be like, okay, now you can do everything with everybody. It doesn't even matter anymore. Just go. You know.
See, I think they could do it where they. What about? Tell me what you think about this, Pat. So you can still only learn and level 2 professions on any given character.
Okay.
So your hunter has leatherworking and skinning, and then your druid has herbalism and alchemy, and another character has got blacksmithing and mining. You can still you can log in on your hunter and make blacksmithing recipes. You can log in on your druid and make leatherworking recipes. And I'm hesitant to do it with gathering professions, but crafting professions,
right.
That seems like a good move. But you could just log in, but then you only get the bonus, like the sort of, the engineering bonus. You only get that on a character with engineering, the extra sockets that you get for jewel crafting, the ability to enchant rings. Just have those on one individual character. But I don't see a problem with being able to take crafting and being like, oh, so I don't have to do this ridiculous logging on and out shuffle where I send the mats from this character to make this, to this character, that character,
right.
all around the
argument. The argument I think against that is the fact that obviously Blizzard and the people who want it that way want that distinction of individuality of like, okay, my druid is a crafter. He is a leather worker. He can make leather gear. And you remove that distinction from you remove that distinction from You okay, Pat?
Sorry, Mike. Sorry. Yes, I'm fine.
It's okay. It's okay. Coltrane breaks Gary, I break you. That's just the way it works.
That's right.
So there's I think that players want that, or there are some players out there that want that distinction, and Blizzard does want to make sure that they keep that there. But I agree with you, Olivia, and I agree with the person asking the question, who is it's tedious after a certain point of like.
Yeah.
So the players who don't like that distinction, it's like, now I got to log over here to send the stuff over there, to send it over here so that I can craft it right here. Like that's just a back and forth process. That's a pain to the people who don't want that experience.
Right. And maybe the deal would be that as soon as you reach max level for each of those professions, then you could be able to do that across all characters or whatever. On that particular server. So I mean, maybe that's something else. And I'm not against this. I just kind of wonder if it's a good idea in the long run to be able to do everything with one character. I think that we've seen some instances where Blizzard has tried to put things together that didn't necessarily work. And again, it's tough to take it back. Taking it back is not going to be an easy thing for people. So I'm in favor of this. I'm also in favor of tri-spec. So, I mean, I'm fine with just about everything. Let me do anything I want. Sure. Awesome. Yeah. That'd be great. However, I'm just trying to think about the larger community issues that might arise from it.
Like, there is an element, but I think, like, I don't know anyone, and maybe this is just because I don't know enough people, who has the same profession maxed on 2 different characters on the same server. Like, maybe that's just my group of friends, but...
I've got, like, 3 jewel crafters.
Well, and and how would that affect?
Why?
How would that affect?
Because I want them all to have the sockets. Back when I was playing, back when I was playing, jewel crafting was the #1 bonus statistically. So if you were going to be doing something, it had to be a jewel crafter.
Right. And if you were a plate where it was usually doing blacksmithing and
well, yeah, it was raiders were it was blacksmithing and jewel crafting because you needed the socket.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the other thing too is, how would this affect the community? I mean, how would this affect the economy? Because I think that there would be a mad rush for everybody to finally do something with their professions and get them all to max, and then only do everything on one character again once they got it to cap. So I'm not sure. It might affect the economy in weird ways. It could really kind of screw with a lot of different areas in the game. So maybe there's a good reason not to do it.
I think the other thing, the second part of his question where he talks about being able to do crafting professions and stuff on your phone and tablet. First off, I think gathering, again, no. Like that ruins the whole idea of having to go out and gather the materials. Doing things like maybe crafting, sure, I can understand the convenience, but then at the same time, literally when you're crafting in game, you hit a button, say craft 20, and you walk away. So it's not like it's that big of a convenience saver. And again, it takes away that distinction. Sure, it maybe allows you to feel like you're connected to the game while you're out, but it takes away that distinction of actually feeling like you're in the game crafting something.
The mail part of it would be great, though. Being able to look at your mail on an app somewhere, or we talked about fishing before. Being able to do like a fishing app. That'd be great.
There was an iPhone app. I don't know if it still exists. Years ago, it all it did is it used the accelerometer, but you'd sync it so that basically when you cast, you would have to put your mouse over the thing, and then you'd hold your phone like this, and then when it like plinged for when it was gonna fish, you yank it back and it caught the fish for you. It was the most tedious, useless thing ever. But I know some people used it.
Yeah, like I think because you can get your in-game mail as long as it's auction based at the moment. Like, you know, you can do your buys, your sells, your relisting all through the mobile auction house. And I don't use it so much at the minute because I haven't been playing the auction house so much in Myst. But when I was playing the auction house quite hard in Kata, I used that for almost all my auctions. If I was like all my expiries that I didn't sell, I would just relist them with that app. Like whilst I was on the train, whilst I was like just doing something else, like waiting for something, I'd just be there auctioning away. And that's brilliant. Like I would post all my stuff on the auction house and all my expires, but a lot of the time I would use like and I don't like Trade Skill Master when I wanted to do mass postings of things like glyphs. So less for that. But I think it would be any additions like this to the in-game app. I don't think you should be able to do your crafts on the in-game app at all. I completely agree with Mike on that. But yeah, why not do the posting stuff? Why not anything to do with the mailbox or the auction house?
Sure.
All right, let's go ahead and get to one of these viewer video questions. This comes in from Dwayne. Let me make sure the volume is up. Happy Halloween. You need a scream in there. Did I miss a scream? Did I have it turned down too much? No,
hey,
maybe?
Dwayne here, coming to you today from the great state of Michigan. And today, as you're all aware, is Halloween. And as typical of my wonderful home state, the weather is rainy and unpleasant. However, things are not all doom and gloom, as tonight I will be escorting what I can only describe as the most amazing little spider girl around the neighborhoods. We'll be out protecting citizens and consuming a debilitating amount of sugar. A few days later, I'll be jumping on a plane to fly to Cali for some fun in the sun and my first ever BlizzCon. And it's as a BlizzCon rookie that I come to you guys today for some wisdom. So here's my questions. What are the things you all are most excited to see and do at this year's con? And if there's one thing that I must see or do as a BlizzCon rookie, what do you think that is? Thanks for taking my question, and keep up the great work on the show. Hopefully I'll see you all sometime next week. See ya.
Sounds good. Hopefully we will, at the very least, see you at the Annabella, because if we're coming down, you should come down to the Annabella. I think we've already talked about everything that we're really excited for, so let's just focus on the second part of this. What is one thing... Actually, you guys haven't ever been, have you? You both haven't been.
No. We're all looking to you for this one, Mike Shatner.
Right.
What is the one thing that you would advise us BlizzCon rookies not to miss?
Here's what I'm going to say.
BlizzCon's tough. BlizzCon's a little tough because here's the thing. It's an experience about 3 different games. 4 different games now with Blizzard.
It's going to be more,
All-Stars.
yeah, exactly.
I don't want to pigeonhole. This is the World of Warcraft show, so obviously people want to hear about the really cool, fun, exciting World of Warcraft stuff. But the thing is it's BlizzCon. Like, it has something there for Diablo, StarCraft, World of Warcraft, and now Blizzard All-Stars. So it really has something for every single one of the Blizzard fans. What's one of the things that I remember the most? One of the things that the 2 things that I can imagine are like I said, the opening ceremony. Again, if you guys are going, get there early, get good seats, and make sure that you don't get locked out, because being in that auditorium when they announce a expansion and just hearing, all of the excitement around all of the fans around you, like when we were all there and we had Chris Metzen being like, red versus blue, and we were all like, yeah! So, you don't want to miss the whole big announcement of like what they're doing for across all the different games. But the one thing that I think that it just stays in my mind was again, because I'm an Arena World of Warcraft fan, I really enjoyed watching the Arena tournaments. But I think that it truly comes down to what you want to take from the experience, because it literally has something for everyone who's a fan of Blizzard games.
And I would just say this too, and we talked about it, earlier, but don't worry so much about the panels and being in the exact right spot. I mean, maybe for opening ceremonies that might be a thing where you really want to try to be in the right place because there are a ton of people there. But go there and go there for the experience, and try not to lick a lot of things. That's another thing that you should try not to do when you're at BlizzCon.
Don't lick
a lot of things
at BlizzCon.
No.
Just don't. Just don't do that.
That's just a good idea.
Unhygienic.
It's a good way of life.
Number 1, and again, we said it earlier, Pat just repeated it. I just want to reiterate. The experience. That's what BlizzCon is. It's an experience. So it's not even necessarily you have to go like to see or do one thing. It's about literally being in a huge ass convention with everybody who loves the same games, the same company, and you're in like-minded, every single person that goes is a friend that you just haven't met.
Yeah.
That's literally, you have something in common with everybody who will be at that convention, and you can talk to anyone about anything. It's the funnest thing in the world. So just the experience. Let's take this last question here. This comes in from Jesse. Here we go.
Legendary Crew. So I've been thinking about the item level scaling, and I was wondering what if next expansion Blizzard just made it part of the game? Kind of like a Guild Wars system. So you go into a zone, and your character's base stats and your item level are scaled down accordingly. Not saying you couldn't fly. I think it'd be pretty cool to be able to help out guildies and friends on your main without having to keep an ult up, because leveling an ult all the way up alongside somebody gets to be a little bit tedious. Also, I think it would really help World PvP because I love World PvP, and it's fun when you're fighting people around the same level, but nobody likes going in on like a level 20 and getting one-shotted by some douchebag.
Yes, they do. That's what World PvP thrives off of.
Level 90 who has too much free time. So, what do you all think?
So what do you guys think? Outside, I gotta say, I'll come out and say I disagree with the fact that it doesn't help World PvP. In my personal opinion, I agree with you from the sentiment of this fact that you don't like getting ganked by the 90, but that's how World PvP starts. World PvP started back in Hillsbrad or South Shore and Terran Mill because you were questing and some douchebag from Undercity comes over and whops you, and then you finally get like 5 of your friends to come teach him a lesson, and then he gets 10 of his friends to come teach you guys a lesson, and that's how it gets started. But it never would have been started if you didn't have some big 90 or 80 or 70 or whatever the max level was enticing the other friends of yours that were max level to come in and mess with him. They'll just say, well, he's your level. You handle him. Learn to play.
Right.
That's right. But what about
people
eye level
who engage
scaling?
in World PvP don't like a fair fight, is what Mike's saying. People
No,
who do World PvP
they
like the
hate it.
scales stacked in their favor.
Yes, that's what World PvP is. Am I wrong?
No.
No, you're right. You're right.
So
It
what about
is.
the other ideas, though, of scaling it down so that you can play with your friends?
I think that scaling always should be a choice. I mean, it shouldn't be a thing that happens. I think that, like with the stuff that we saw last week within the dungeons, the glitch or the bug or whatever the hell it was, or the next new feature, which is probably more likely in my mind anyway. I think that it needs to be a choice, and that was a choice. It was, okay, let's try to make sure that you get down to the level of the dungeon. Perfect, and it kind of worked. So I think it always has to be a choice, and if you start mandating it across zones, people are gonna revolt. That's what people do,
Yeah,
especially
sure.
on forums. I mean, go figure.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's going to be, like, you can't have that. I don't think you can have enforced downscaling. It's got to be something that people can be like, okay, today I want to level with my friend who is only level 13 and I need to go and level with them. It'll be fun. And today I want to go be a dick and gank some level 15 in the same zone as my friend. And you need to have that choice, because what would Warcraft be without gankers?
Right. It
Boring.
would be, it'd be kind of plain.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think they can do it without making it optional. I do kind of like the idea of it, though, because like if they're doing the whole thing with dungeons, it kind of follows that questing would be the next logical step. And no, it might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it in Guild Wars 2, but partly because you didn't lose your abilities, I think, in most cases at least. I didn't play much Guild Wars 2, it's a bit hazy. But yeah.
Olivia Grace, you can follow her right down there at Olivia D. Grace. Be sure to follow
Matches my
her.
shot.
Check out all of the awesome stuff that she does over for Zam.com, WoW Insider, and right here in Gamebreaker TV. And be sure to come say hello to her next week at the Annabella Hotel and buy her a drink.
Dude. Yeah.
Pat Crane, you
Don't
can
necessarily do that. Like, what work?
Pat Crane, you can follow him right down there at Pat Crane. Be sure to catch him over on Convert to Raid. I'm ready to catch. Thanks, man. Be sure to catch him over on Convert to Raid. And also, if you guys are going to be down in the Irvine area for whatever reason, be sure to come by the Annabella Hotel next Thursday and buy Pat Crane a drink.
Yes. Please do.
You guys can follow me right down here at Mike Shavner. Be sure to catch me all over Game Breaker TV with all of the other stuff that I do here. And if you guys are going to be in the Irvine area for whatever reason, you know, you can stop by the Annabelle Hotel and buy me a drink. Just saying. We'll maybe buy you one back in return.
And probably a tiny beer at that.
Tiny Coronas.
Buy him a tiny beer.
Yeah.
Just
tiny Coronas. That's it. That's all I drink. Oh my gosh. No! Why would I even say that? I swear if that's all I get, I'm going to be upset. If I get anything at all, I'll be extremely happy. Don't get me wrong. Thank you guys so much for watching Legendary, our World of Warcraft show. If you guys have not considered watching this live, we do this show live every Thursday at 8 p.m. PDT. And like I said, next week we will be down at BlizzCon, so there will be a very special live stream going on where we will be streaming at the party at the Annabella. So if you guys have not had the opportunity to kind of see what goes on at these parties, come hang out with us. We're going to have awesome people stopping by throughout the entire night. Day 9, Jesse Cox, possibly some of the World of Warcraft community managers. I think Josh is coming by. We might even be able to get Mike B around. I'm not sure, but big ass reunion. So be sure to check that out next week. Thank you guys, everyone, so much for watching. We'll see you next week.